Let's have a conversation.
I want to take this time to thank everybody for their support of myself, Mark, and the music and mental health movement. Please take this time to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you.
Marketplace is empty, no more traffic in the streets. All the builders' tools are silent, no more time to harvest wheat. Busy housewives see still late in the courtroom, no debate. Work on earth has been suspended as the King comes through the lanes. The King is coming, the King is coming. I've just heard the trumpet sounding, and now his face I see. Are gonna line the hallways for those whose lives have been redeemed. Broken homes that he has mended, those from prison he'll set free. Oh, little children and the aged, hand in hand, stand on floor. Those who are crippled, broken, ruined, now glad and hearts rise strong. The King is coming, the King is coming. I just heard the trumpet sounding, and now his face I see. The King
I just wanted to start with that song. That was an amazing song that these two singers, Cheryl and Taro from my parents' church, sang at my dad's funeral service. And this part of the ceremony was just the best for me because it was very hard. And that song just kind of helped set the tone and kind of push me through it. And I know a lot of people felt the same way. So I just wanted to share the song and also a little bit of this speech, which I have already put on this channel before, but I was gonna play a couple of minutes of it as well.
My dad believed that I could do anything in life. Sometimes he even believed in me more than I believed in myself. He always had suggestions on what he wanted me to do. And I say that because anyone with an African father knows that suggestions are also not multiple choice. It's like, I want you to do those things, period. And if you don't do them, I'm gonna be disappointed or upset. Um, but I always know that he wanted the best for me, so I appreciate those things now. In my upbringing, I do remember that my dad was very strict, but also loving. Even when he would tell me I have it easy compared to his father, which the family has said that Papa was very strict, probably much more so than my dad. Um, since the time of my dad's passing, we received many phone calls and many visits, many stories that have been told. Everybody has listed various things about him, but something I frequently hear is that he was patient, he was humble, he was always optimistic, funny, charismatic, loving, intelligent, among other things. And to me, he was all of those things, but he was also just dad. When my dad got sick, that's when I really saw all of those characteristics come into play. And one might think, how could you start seeing those values during a time of sickness and cognitive decline? The doctor said that my dad was almost done on many occasions, but he was like, I'm not done yet. I'm still here. I'm still here in the fight. After each stroke, he went through a process of rehabilitation, which included physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. During that time, if anyone ever called him or saw him and asked how he was doing, his answer was always, I'm okay by God's grace. I'm well. Even when they questioned him further, didn't you have a stroke? I'm recovering very well. I'm doing great. That was always the answers that he was given in spite of all the challenges that he was facing. I watched him go through multiple hospitalizations, rehab facility stays, and he was always making the attendants laugh. Sometimes he would sing. He would impress them with his ability to do math problems, speak different languages, and tell them the stories of all the different places that he's been in this life. He lived a full life. He continually worked to regain his ability to walk, talk, and maintain as much independence as he could. This was until his last major stroke in September of 2022. At that point in time, he was not speaking and he was not walking, and that was a very hard time for family and friends to see and face because everybody knows him for his presence, his jokes, his laughter, and he was always on his feet, traveling, going somewhere, moving somewhere. You know, he was never in one spot, and that was the first time I ever saw him like that. But he was almost done, but he was not quite done yet because the doctors at that time told us that he had days to live. Days. So I took time off of work in anticipation of those days, 90 days to be exact. And He lived through all of those days and beyond that. And I remember this one time a couple of months ago, we always go in there and we talk to him and he wasn't responding. And I asked him how he was doing, and he was like, I'm good. And I'm like, maybe I'm hearing things, because I was the only one in the room. So I took out my camera and I asked him again. And I said, Dad, how are you doing? And he said, I'm good.
All right. Thank you for the condolence messages. Definitely, it's a tough day because this is the first birthday of my dad's that he's not here. And I actually have videos of last year. I think I had mentioned that I went to spend the day with him in the nursing home. I took the day off. I think I have this video on here somewhere of when I was reading him his card. It's in here somewhere. But I knew at that time that it was going to be the last one. I mean, I hoped that it wasn't, but. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday. A special wish for you. Wishing you nothing but happiness. The kind of happiness you bring. Sorry about that. Just by being you. Hope the joy you're feeling today lasts all year long. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. Love always. Your son and family. Yeah, it was hard to watch that video, honestly, because at that time, not this video, but the video of me speaking at his service, because really, I couldn't even bring myself to write a speech until the morning of. I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I have no speech. And I just made something up. And I wrote something out, because when you start writing something like that, it starts to feel final. And I've written plenty of speeches for plenty of things, but nothing like that. The speeches that I wrote before, more for motivation or for information, speeches in school, mental health speeches and talks, but nothing like this, where I'm making a speech and just acknowledging that my parent is not going to be here anymore. So that was very tough, but I got through that. The time that I've had to grieve has been very little, because unfortunately life keeps moving and work doesn't provide you opportunities to stop and process things the way that you really need. This is very fresh. About 4.5 weeks ago. About 4.5 weeks ago, he was still here. 4.5 months ago, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said weeks. 4.5 months ago. And it seems like a long time, but it's been a short time and a long time at the same time. But to get on to the reason why I decided to post this video that I have coming up in 14 minutes, he had a connection to what I do here on YouTube, because I've mentioned this story before. Those who have been following me for a while already know that when he was still here and when he was still in the house, I would put on YouTube videos for him, because he would ask me to see music and he would ask me to see sports videos. And he liked seeing people. Know that people who have ever had somebody who experiences Alzheimer's dementia knows that their minds often go back to places where they were comfortable or happy, or memories that they really enjoyed from years ago that stay in their mind. So I'd put on his Muhammad Ali, I would put on his Vince Carter basketball, I'd put on his tennis matches that he liked to see, his soccer, and I would put on his gospel music that he loved to listen to. And actually, those two that I put on at the beginning of this video are singers at the church he used to attend, and they actually had a great relationship with him, and he got them booked to sing at a lot of different places. So one time he is sitting out there in the living room, and he was asking me to put on YouTube, and I thought that he wanted me to put on one of his songs, or he wanted me to put on one of his sports, or just something that I usually would put on for him. And as I kept changing it, he couldn't express himself properly in words, but I could see whether he liked what I was doing or not. So I put it on. He's like, no, not that one. Put it on, put something else on for him. He's like, no, not that one. And I'm like, this is strange. Anything I put on, I know what he likes. I can put any one of those things that he likes on, and he's going to like it usually. But for some reason, he's shaking his head like, no, I don't like that. I don't want that. So then I was like scrolling through, and he saw a thumbnail with my face on like a YouTube video. And he started smiling. He's like, yeah, that. And I'm like, the video of me? And he said, yeah, that one. So I put on the video, and he just had this big amount of joy on his face. He was just smiling and laughing. And he said, do you have any more? And I'm like, yeah, I have a lot more. So I sat down with him, and we went down the line. This was actually before I even had any reality TV content. This was just my mental health content. And I'm playing them for him. He's like, give me another one. I want to see another one. I want to see another one. And we watched several of them until I had to go do something else. And he was like, Mark, that is very good. You know, keep going with that, or whatever he said. He said, that's impressive. He expressed that he liked what I was doing on the page. He wanted me to keep going with the page. And so, tying all of that in to meeting up with Sam from the Circle, when their show aired was when he was in the very last stages of his life. And I remember some of those days when I was watching the show. The day was terrible. I was so depressed all day. And then that little hour of just watching Sam and watching, the other people that I liked from the show. Actually, shout out to Chaz also, because Chaz was my first interview that I did with anyone from that show. And actually, the Chaz interview was probably a month before my dad passed. So yeah, shout out to Chaz for that. But yeah, some of those moments watching that show were my only relief for the whole day. And I know some people understand that experience, where these TV shows are our little mental break from having serious other things going on outside of those shows. So that was what it was for me. So I always wanted the opportunity to meet Sam, and I reached out. I DM'd her. I think I sent a couple emails to her management team, which I didn't know was her management team at the time. But, just the information she had for contact in her bio and all that. I never got any response. And I kind of just gave up on that, because I said, I'm kind of a person who says that things are meant to happen. They are. And if they're not, they're not. And so I ended up seeing a flyer of a party that she was hosting. Saw it at the last minute. And I said, well, maybe I can go over there. And at the very least, even if she does not agree to an interview, I could just tell her that I enjoyed watching her on the show and I'm happy for her that she was able to win and, like that kind of thing. So, but I did have it in my mind that I was going to ask her as well if she would have a interview with me. And I asked her, I went over there, I met her, I spoke to her, I told her I was a big fan. I told her that, I had done this interview with Chaz. I didn't even get to the part of asking her. And she was like, you need me to? Like, whatever you want me to do, whether you want me to host an event with you or interview with you or whatever you want, whatever you want, I got you. And I was like, wow, that was much easier than I expected it to be because I reached out months ago. And but I guess she might not have even seen any of those messages. But the point being, so to speed this up, because I only have a few minutes before the premiere, and I'm going to be watching that video with all of you, is so at the time when I got the interview with her, I hadn't done an interview, I think, since the one with Chaz, which was 3 months earlier. And I didn't have even that spark to be asking people to do this because my mind was just in a very depressed state. I was still present on social media and everything, but mentally I was in another space. And she kind of got into my orbit at a perfect timing. And as I started my process that I do when I'm going to interview somebody, rewatched all the episodes, started taking my notes, started coming up with some ideas, and I realized, this has been a great distraction and a great way to take my mind off of what's going on. And I put so much into it. I really did. I mean, it's only like less than an hour long. That's partially because it started raining in the middle of the interview. So the allotted time that we had to do it got cut a little shorter, but that doesn't change the fact that we got everything in there that I wanted to get in there. And I even told Sam about my dad in the video, which you will see towards the end. And he was in mind. He was in mind definitely when we were doing this process. And I've said it 1,000 times, but thank you to Sam for that. Whether she sees this video or not, she definitely knows in many various ways that I've contacted her to tell her that I'm very thankful for this and helping me do this. And I'm glad that you said that. Thank you, Cameron. That's the last part of what I have to say. His gift to me was that belief that he had in me. That was his gift that he gave me. He believed that I could do anything, literally. My belief in myself goes up and down. It's not unlimited like his, but my birthday gift to him on his first birthday that he's not here was to believe in myself enough to say, I'm going to stop for 24 hours doing the main thing that grew my channel, even while there's so much stuff going on with the show. The main thing that I want people to do is watch this video. And that's the only reason why I am not posting that stuff, especially on my Mindful Reality channel, because I want everyone to watch this video and that's it for the day. And Sam also kind of represents the first time I went in when it comes to this specific type of platform, that I set out to accomplish something and I did it. And trust me, this was not a simple or quick process at all. I had to not give up when I didn't get responses initially. And then I had to wait in that club for like 4 or 5 hours before she got there. And then I had to figure out how to match her schedule. I had to get a last minute videographer. There was just many factors that went into that. But yeah, that's all I got to say for now. 30 minutes is clearly not enough, but it's also enough at the same time because it was hard for me at the beginning of this video. And it's going to be hard for me after it's over, but I'm still here. You know, I'm still standing strong. I still am planning to be here for a long time and just live out his legacy. And thank y'all for supporting me throughout this journey, which has been public. You know, I never thought that I would be publicly talking about these things, or, you know, he even had a couple of strokes while I was on YouTube live last year that some of y'all remember. So it's been a process, and, you know, I'm just working through it. So I'm going to just cut this short because my video starts in 2 minutes. So please, if you're on my music and mental health channel, hop over to Mindful Reality. And if you're on my Mindful Reality channel, stay right here and just click the video. And I hope y'all enjoy. Please give me comments and feedback. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Take care.